Now, last year I uploaded a video talking about how 2023 was just not a good year for me. And this is kind of like the follow-up video to that. I know I'm a little bit late because I originally was going to do this on New Year's Eve, but now I'm doing this on the 2nd of January. But that's besides the point. So, 2023, not a good year for me. What about 2024? No. In fact, to tell you the truth, it was so much worse than 2023. And I'll get into that in a moment. However, unlike 2023, I think I actually did come out with a pretty happy ending. Um, which I'll get to that later, but for now, I just want to just talk about 2024 and why it was so awful for me. Um, Now, with 2023, my main issue was my social situation, because I was avoiding basically everyone at school who wasn't in my immediate friend group. And while, yes, I did have friends, things got a lot trickier in 2024 because one of my closest friends dropped out, another one of my closest friends moved away, so there only really left one friend left at school. And combine that with my still rather antisocial attitude, I was so goddamn lonely at school. Like, yes, I did get along well with some kids here and there, but like, I still was too terrified of people. I still had my worldview not really in a good place after those bloody degenerate Discord servers that I use just for validation purposes. And well, yeah, like just a lot of the people I knew at school, I just tried to avoid. Especially this one old love interest of mine, who we'll call the Red Panda. And um, continuing into 2024, I still held this antisocial mindset, just avoid everyone. And like I said, since my friends have kind of shrunken down, or at least in real life, things just start to get a lot lonelier for me, and I just, yeah, just getting like just feeling lonely all the time just really did not put me in a good place. Um, and around May, I want to say, it was either April or May, I can't remember, but um, I just started to get so goddamn sick of myself for basically avoiding everyone, and I just thought of myself as like a goddamn pussy. So, if you remember around the time, I uploaded a video. I think I deleted it, but it was a video talking about how on the internet I was gonna start using Rowan Rivers, which is my pen, well, was my pen name, at the time. But I'd be basically using that on the internet for basically everything. And what I didn't really mention in the video is that I was also going to start using it in real life, essentially to escape from myself, because I just thought of myself as so goddamn insufferable and just a goddamn pussy that I just could not stand myself any further and just wanted, like, okay, how the hell can anyone even withstand me? Um, so basically, I tried to rebuild myself from the ground up, essentially. And well, admittedly, at first it felt great, really. Like I was a lot more social, I was a lot more confident, I felt like I was doing slightly better at school. Slightly though. Um, I no longer was terrified of this red panda, and well, life was good for a bit. Um, However, that was it only lasted about a month or two, and soon after I started to get extremely judgmental. It's basically just any little mistake I would make, I would be so viciously angry over. Um, and it didn't help that because I never really mentioned this in a video, I don't think, but I'm autistic myself, so I do have some struggles here and there. And just combined with that, I always got so mad with, like, if I just said the wrong thing or just bumped into something, I'd be like, I need to be perfect. I need to stop being this Lucas motherfucker and be the perfect human being. essentially whiplash on crack, to put it lightly. Um, and I remember this one time in my performing arts class where essentially I got pranked by someone, and like I was like, oh yeah, haha, you got me. But like deep inside, I don't think I've ever been angry with myself in my entire life because I quote unquote did wrong. Um, and just for the next few months, I was basically just bullying myself to death. Just always angry with myself, never satisfied with anything I ever did. Um, and yeah, just my self-esteem and literally everything was just worse. Like, even if I was talking to people a little bit more, even if I was engaging, I still had the mindset that I was just scum just because I wasn't perfect, unlike everyone else, the neurotypicals. Um, and around September, I want to say, like mid to late September, I was having a music class, and I was practicing guitar, and I can't remember if this was like something I was already learning or if I just started, but I messed it up pretty badly. I guess I just wasn't feeling it that day, and I was really just frustrated with myself, thinking that like, oh, I'm never gonna do anything right. I'm always just gonna mess up. I'm never gonna do anything with my guitar at all. And I was viciously mad. And when my teacher told me to stop swearing at myself, um, I ended up having the biggest realization of my life. It was completely horrifying because I realized what I had become. That I was bullying myself to death. This Rowan name I was using was killing me. Um, and like I was so goddamn horrified. Like you know the scene from Jujutsu Kaisen where Sukuna transforms back into Itadori, right before I forgot the name of the city, but basically it was after that big battle, and Itadori was just full of shock, and he started breaking down, just absolutely mortified at what Sukuna had done. I essentially felt like that inside, because I realized that I just completely destroyed myself, and over the next few days, I essentially had just rethought my entire life, and I realized that the whole cause of everything was essentially the evil in my life, the evil within me, the evil around me. Now, the term evil, it really depends on the usage, but the way I'm using it is just like the general, like, negative aspect, the thing that's ruining your life, really. Um, so, like, it could be like, Saturday morning cartoon evil. It could just be minor inconvenience evil. It could be Adolf Hitler evil. Anything. Evil's just the easiest way to say it. But, um, for me, it was bigotry, because frankly, I was just always surrounded by it. Even if, like, like, look, no one's just gonna, like, walk up to me and just, like, call me the N word or anything. But, like, just always, like, seeing it online, always, like, talking to bigots, who, like, talked about how they hated this minority or hated that minority. Um, like, just viciously just hating people, like genocidal fantasy, shit like that. And um, like most of the time, it wasn't even directed at me, but it made me feel like I should be enemies with people that, frankly, I have nothing against. And yet, like, there's like this idea that like they're the scum of the earth. And like sometimes this was directed to autistic people like me. And like, sure, it may be referring to like, the people who are so autistic they can't talk, whatever. Um, However, I am still autistic. I'm not much different from them, really. Um, they're human, I'm human, we're all human. But the thing that is complete fact is I am autistic. And so when I saw shit like that, whether someone said that, knowing I'm autistic or not, doesn't matter, it made me feel like I'm a fucking just waste of oxygen, essentially. Um, and like, that's what essentially drove the Rowan thing in me, because I hated myself so much, I wanted to escape. And so the whole cause of the Rowan thing to begin with was the evil within me, like just wanting to not be autistic, um, because it's something I've always been insecure about, and now that I've been, now that I realize that it's that bigotry, just as a whole, has ruined my worldview. I eliminated all of that, got everything out of my life. I deleted Twitter, I cut people out, everything. And well, at first, I didn't really feel anything. I still hated myself. Um, it took about like a, 2 weeks, I want to say, to recover. Or maybe 1 week, I can't remember. All I know is that it didn't happen instantly. I needed to take time to recover because I still wasn't good. And well, after a while, things really started to get better for me. I felt like I could be myself again. I felt like I didn't have to be someone for another person who frankly will forget I exist within 6 months. Um, and I did a speech at Assembly about this actually. I have been planning a speech for basically the entire year, but I didn't know what to do it exactly on. And um and like after this whole like bigotry stuff and getting all of that out of my life, it made me think that yes, I absolutely hated myself because of the way I exist, but there's definitely some other people who went to my school who definitely feel that way, and I just wanted to tell people that no, they're not the scum of the earth just because they exist. Um, because like I always felt that way about myself, and now that I no longer do, now that I feel like I'm safe in my own skin, I really do not need anyone else feeling that way, because frankly, it's just the evil in your life ruining you and ripping you to shreds. One example I can think of actually is Generic Stud. And for those who don't know, he recently made a video. Well, it wasn't really recent; it was quite a bit ago. But he made a video talking about like how he basically was working himself to death because of YouTube, and eventually he found God, and yeah, everyone's happy. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, when I first watched the video, I just thought it was Christian propaganda because the whole message of the video was to stop chasing your dreams. And when I first watched it, I was like, what the heck is this guy yapping about? Stop chasing your dreams? You mean give up your passions in the name of Christ? But I rewatched that video after the whole bigotry stuff got out of my life, and the way I saw the video completely changed because I realized that what he was actually talking about was the evil within his life, which was the addiction to making YouTube videos, and how it was like the only thing in his life, his only real purpose, and how he kept chasing and chasing something that wasn't even there, because he essentially strived for perfection, just like I did. And look, I'm not a religious person. He is, and I'm happy for him, but I'm not. But the fact of the matter is, he found the evil in his life and he got rid of it. I found the evil in my life, I got rid of it. And um, chances are, if you feel shitty about your life, then I'm pretty sure that there definitely is an evil in there somewhere. You may not realize it right away, but there's definitely an evil. And trust me, it's not you. It's not you just because of some disability you have or anything. It's definitely some actual negative force that's taking you away from the things that actually make you you and the relationships you have with other people. Um, and honestly, I think October to November was easily the best period of 2024 for me because for the first time since late 2022, I think, I actually felt safe around myself. Um, like, I feel like I actually belong with people. Even if I'm still not the most social person in the world, like, I don't feel like a complete outcast. I remember in my 2023 video, I said that like I was like basically so in the shadows. I was never invited to anything. I was never invited to parties or anything. Well, I went to 2 parties this year. Yippee! Like like 2024, like while the year was atrocious, I feel like the ending definitely made up for it, honestly, because I feel like that going into 2025, which 2025 has already started as I'm filming this, but I feel like I can go into it just being myself and not trying to be this Rowan character, essentially. And I just want to say that if you feel like you're the goddamn scum of the earth just because people say you are, you're not. That's not who you are at all. The real evil in your life is not you. Um, and like, if you can't get rid of the evil in your life, like if it's like, you know, some relative or the place you live, I understand that, but just by knowing what the problem is, it makes it easier to actually get rid of it sooner or later, and then one day you can truly be happy. And um, trust me, whatever you go through, you'll get through it because, like I said, my life for the past year and a half really has been just depressing, just a depressing, lonely hellhole, and um now now that I'm out of that, mostly, I just want to say that you can get out of it too. And look, I'm not expecting 2025 to be perfect. I mean, look who the fuck is the president. Um, but but for the first time in quite a while, I feel like I actually have hope for 2024. Sorry, 2025 because um, I know that I don't have to be this false identity, really. Anyway, I mentioned the speech earlier, and I'm gonna read it to you now, so yeah, enjoy. Let's get one thing straight. Life does have its issues, and it can be tough. But one important thing to note is even if life gives you enemies, you're not one of them regardless of how you feel. As somebody who was autistic, it was hands down the biggest insecurity of my life, always feeling like I wasn't good enough for anyone or myself. I simultaneously felt too antisocial while also being too up in other people's faces, while also finding my personality as too dislikable or annoying. For a while, I wondered if it was possible to hardwire myself into someone new just to escape the things that bothered me so much about myself. Yet in the end, all that did was just bring me harm and made me feel as though it was impossible to reshape who I was into my definition of a better person, a person without flaws. Whenever I made even the slightest mistake, I'd be very hard on myself for quote-unquote doing wrong, and just thought to myself that I'll never be the person I want to be due to how I was made. Once I realized what I was doing to myself, I decided to take a step back for a moment and reflect. What does it mean to be a better person? To be at the very top? To be kind and respectful to others? Or just to not feel like you don't belong or to feel like you're the perfect human being? Trying to reach the very top just so you don't feel useless is just degrading yourself. And the only thing that truly makes you weak is having the belief you are weak. We still live in a world with double standards, discrimination, the content on social media, etc., that makes it harder for us to realize what makes us us, and instead we focus on the things we lack rather than what we have. I've always told myself I'm one of the worst people alive because I feel like a 10-year-old compared to my peers. But I've managed to do things not everybody could do, like making it to the verge of graduation, or let alone having the guts to give a speech about what I saw as my biggest weakness for a time, making a short film, participating in theory exams for Trinity, participating in cross-country for the first time in like 87 years, making it to every class and not running off to another I shouldn't be in just to be with some friends or to avoid that one reliever. I know some of you are guilty of that. And yet at the same time, I'm guilty of dumb things myself that a lot of you wouldn't even care about. That being said, we all have our own special little quirks here and there that form our identities, and that's something to be proud of. Focus on improving rather than destroying yourself just so you can lie to yourself about being useless. And when you look back at some of the stupid things you did in year 9, it already proves you've changed. You've acknowledged that you've matured and know what to do better. For a time, I truly believed every human being in this room was better than me in every single way, but I've come to realize nobody's perfect. We all have regrets and sometimes beat ourselves up over them when they get to us. But always remember, we only live once, and I truly believe that everyone on the planet deserves to live the lives they want, not be slaves to their own insecurities or problems. Because what's the point of being truly alive if you can't even live? Now that I'm at the end of year 13, remember, you are not the main villain of your own story, so please don't treat yourself like one.